Hey everyone, welcome to the Chase Card coverage, third round front nine from the 2017 Jonesboro Open. We got big Dick Contenders commentary team today. Myself, Jeremy Koling, joined by the chicken tender loving Chris Dickerson.
What's up, guys?
We're here at the Discs Side of Heaven course in Jonesboro, and what a fantastic starting hole. We've talked about it 3 rounds now, just an awesome way to start the course. 450 feet, straight up the middle. What are you thinking about?
You really just want to throw as straight as you can on this hole, and probably as far as you can. It plays uphill the whole way.
Right, it's a smash. It's not really a hole that can be reached unless you have, I'd say, almost 500 feet of distance. Just the way that you have to throw it, you really have to lean into the shot. What are you throwing here?
This is a 400G D1.
Okay. Got it turned over nicely here. I remember I was over there practicing, watching this one, and I was like, yeah, he did it. That's a great shot. 25 feet or so?
Yeah.
You had a little bit of wind to deal with today. Was it a little bit of headwind, or?
Yes, it was a head cross. The cross was right to left.
Yeah, making it pretty difficult. Pretty easy to get it lifted up and fade left. James stays low with the destroyer to avoid the crosswind and the headwind, and he's probably about 80 feet away. That's an easy layup from there. We got DGA sponsor Louis Bitney here today on Chase Card. He's played 2 great starting rounds, and he throws a freaking laser beam. Perfect S shot here, right inside the circle's edge. This is your first time to Arkansas, correct?
It is.
I think it's all of our first times coming to Arkansas. This place really hasn't been a disc golf hotbed, but they're really trying to change that scene, and really warm welcoming from the tournament staff this week. And here you have the dude, Devan Owens, just putting it outside the circle. He's going to have a little bit longer bid than you really want in this one. Oh, nice approach from James there. Yeah, not trying to leave yourself any sort of comebackers to start the round off. And Bitney giving it a bit of a run. What are you putting with here?
A 300 PA3.
And makes good. Solid putt there from Chris. James is one of your hometown homies, right?
Yeah, just from up the road in Virginia.
Yeah, it's almost like playing a tournament back home when you're playing with your homies. James is really, obviously, he's been more on tour in the last couple of years, and I know that you're trying to get out on the road more, and so it's always awesome playing with people that you're comfortable with. And Louis Bitney and Devan are 2 great guys, man. That must have been a fun card.
It was very fun.
On to hole 2, probably in the top 3 hardest tee shots on the course, I feel like. You got 2 routes. You got the big high anhyzer or the straight shot if you don't want to go anhyzer. But there's really not that great of a landing zone if you go straight. So most players are going to be going through the tight gap on the right, throwing a hyzer flip up of sorts. But it's a pretty tight gap. Are you throwing a D1 here?
Yes, the same exact disc as hole 1.
Yep, and that's looking really nice. Oh, that's perfect. Oh my goodness. We're not even going to compare that to how much better that was in my drive the day before. That was awesome. And James going the same route, and that turned over a bit there. I think that's a Shimmer Star Destroyer.
It is.
Yeah, and he's kind of in a bad spot. Fortunately, he's got probably about 400 to 450 off the tee, so that's helpful, but you're really trying to avoid being in any spots like that. And Lewis, you guys are making this gap look like it's way bigger than it is. Yeah, it's a nice shot there. And Devan even going the turnover. I thought that he might go hyzer here on the big anhyzer route, but just going to play that one low to avoid the wind and be in the middle, and he's going to give himself probably, what, 400 feet or so?
Yeah, maybe it plays just a little bit over because it is uphill.
Yeah, and it's uphill, and there's OB on the left side of the pin. There's a lot of things to contend with. You got a low ceiling coming in from his angle. Really, really tough shot, and if you're not close to that 250 mark off the tee, you're really having a tough time getting up and down here. As you see James scramble out of the woods and give himself a chance to get his par. That's really prime position to be off the tee, and he's going with the turnover route a bit wider than I'm sure he wanted to. Let's stay in bounds. It looks like he did, but there's a good bit of brush there to stop the disc from going OB. But you know, I wouldn't be too surprised to see one of those poke through. What's that?
That is another 400 GD1,
Oh
just slightly more seasoned than the other.
Yeah, that's right there. That's awesome. Making this hole look very easy, which it is not. And James actually was a lot further away from the pin than I thought he was. I thought he actually got some distance, but
his second shot, he couldn't really advance toward the basket. He had to kind of pitch straight out of the woods.
yeah. He leaved himself about just inside circle's edge, right?
Yes.
He's got a little putt for his par. And Devan with a nice approach there. He's going to be getting his par. And Lewis he's a fun player to watch putt. He has a really unique nose-up spin putt style, and he practices a bunch on it. Oh, wow. James getting a 5 on hole 2. That was unexpected. He's a really good putter from that range. And there's an awesome start there, the birdie. Birdie start for Chris. Par bogey for James. A couple of pars for Devan, and Lewis is going to tap in for his par as well. Really the name of the game on this hole, honestly. Birdie is a great score. Obviously, you want to birdie almost every hole you play, but the name of the game is not take a big number. And even a 5 is somewhat okay. It's just really the double bogeys that you want to avoid on this course because you can get yourself in some really bad spots.
I agree.
Yeah, and on to hole 3, 435 feet. One of my favorite kinds of shots thrown over a valley is, it's always fun. I just like to be able to watch the disc fly, and I feel like this is a great distance to challenge players. I think that you should be expected to throw right around this distance as a pro and be accurate as well. I think that distance used to be around 350 feet back in the day, but as this technology has improved, now it's pushing players back to like the 450 range. And that was a nice, I'm just going to go ahead and say that was a D1.
It was the same D1 as I threw for the upshot on hole 2.
Okay, so a little bit of turn and a great shot from Lewis. Oh yeah, here we go. FollowFlight, baby. You earned it. Nice little flex shot, playing the wind perfectly. You really can't see, these trees are pretty stubborn. They're not going to show you that it's windy, but it actually is, right? It was a pretty strong headwind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it kind of difficult to throw this distance, but Devan throwing it low, playing that Oklahoma straight shot low and into the wind, and avoiding any sort of turnover. I'm pretty sure this is James's yellow Thunderbird that he likes to go with for this kind of distance. And that's going to leave him with a nice little outside the circle 35 feet or so. Just over the top from Devan. Pretty solid bit from that range. Ooh.
It looked a lot closer than it was.
Yeah. Did you think that one was in?
No.
And there we go. That's the SloMez that I was expecting James to get in the last hole. Nice putt from there, making good. Good birdie to get back on track. That's so key in this course. If you get a bogey, really on any disc golf course, it's not anything new here, but to bounce back from a bogey with a birdie says a lot about your character. Good par putt from Devan. Now, what are you thinking on this 15-footer here?
Hopefully I can just, walk up there, go through my routine, and hopefully it'll go in the basket for 3.
Man, that is not what I'm thinking. Oh, I'm thinking how can I avoid taking any time whatsoever, and maybe I might catch some chains and drop in. Good solid par. So we came out of that hole with 2 birdies. Great drive from Lewis and an awesome putt there from James. And Devan is at 14 under, 2 at 16, and you're at 18. Now, when you're playing this course, this is 3rd round out of 4 rounds. Are you looking at live scoring to see what's going on?
No.
You're never checking that at all?
No.
Yeah, it's unnecessary, but I feel like a lot of people are drawn into that. I am guilty at times. If I am a bit nervous, I will see what's going on with the second card. And I was checking this out, and I saw that you had a good start. And Lewis with an interesting route. I thought that people might be doing this. I hadn't seen anyone actually try it yet. But the roller is a good way to avoid the low ceiling, but you do have that one tree in the way that he did hit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is laced. That is absolutely perfect. Wow, that is 450 feet or so off the tee.
And that was the Thunderbird that he threw off the last tee pad.
Wow, he is so good at that straight shot. He is, I'd say, one of the best at T-Bird, Thunderbird, really one of the best at putters as well.
I would agree.
Just throws them straight, and he really commits to that follow-through, and really impressive to watch him play through the woods. And you had a nice tee shot out in the open, and it looks like Devan's going with a big Anheuser. See, never saw it come down, but looked like he had a pretty good tee shot. This is really like the one spot you don't want to be on this hole. Besides out of bounds, even if you have a poor tee shot, there's a lot of ways to get up and down onto the green. But if you're in a bush and you're still 400 feet away, it makes things pretty difficult. What are you throwing here?
That's a 400 A2.
A2, okay. It's a little bit of skip action, but you're still inside the circle. So Devan did get pretty far off the tee. Nice little sidearm around the corner. 10-foot tap in. You think James is thinking 2 here?
Yes, we talked about it during the round.
Oh my gosh. Oh, great bid from him there.
From our angle, it was holding straight with a slot hyzer, and at the very end, it just kind of tailed off at the end.
Yep. Not bad when you can jump putt for eagle. This hole is, solid putt there from Chris. Or as I call you, the robot. Robot chicken. And yeah, Simon had a really great shot as well, and he had a jump putt for eagle, and I was just like, man, we were playing the hole so different. But if you get a good tee shot off and you lace it, you can get almost all the way to the pin, so it's not unheard of to see someone maybe throw one in here. Almost an eagle opportunity. No one's got it yet, but if people keep driving the hole like that, someone's going to eventually make that putt. So just one par there, 3 birdies, and that's the 4 holes. On to hole 5. What do you think about this hole, Chris?
Hole 5, they have it as a par 3. It is, in my opinion, the toughest hole out on the course.
Yeah, I think probably in terms of handicap, I would imagine it's probably the number 2 handicap, number 1 being hole 18. But this one is a huge risk reward, and you're not going to see many 2s at all because most players are electing to lay up. I'm guessing that was a layup.
It was, yes.
Okay. Couldn't quite tell. He didn't fly off the tee pad, so I'm pretty sure it was a layup. But, yeah, the wind is such a huge aspect on this hole. Uh-oh. Okay, so what happened there?
So when James teed off, I was hoping to get a good wind read from him.
Yeah.
But where he kind of nicked those trees, it didn't give me much.
Yeah.
So the wind was going back and forth left or right, and it kind of mashed my disc down a little bit.
Okay. That's still in good position. So is Devan. Everyone's safe and up the fairway, probably all within 150 to 200 feet away. And Lewis is doing the same thing. This hole suckers you into going for it, yet I haven't seen many people go for it. The one thing that makes it really tricky is that tree right in front of the basket on the way to the green. Not many people can reach this on a straight hyzer. Most people have to go the flex route, and Devan hitting that tree I'm talking about, and he has to go, he's going to the drop zone. Oh, we played that differently. If we played it that once you're in bounds and you go out of bounds, you go to where you were last in. Interesting. Anyways, James with the jump putt across. But yeah, if you go down the middle to avoid the hyzer to get to the green, then you have to worry about that tree, and makes it really difficult to go for it. So it'd be nice to maybe see that tree limbed up a bit, make people maybe a little bit more enticed to go for it. But I do think this is one of the signature holes on the course. It's a beautiful hole with the water on the right side, and it's just in range, but it's not quite enticing enough for most players. There's been 2 birdies on this hole every day, and one of those birdies every day has been by your co-host. I've had good luck on this hole. Actually, I hit the wall in the air and rolled over, and I had it tap in, so I was pretty fortunate. And making good with the par there. And Lewis there with his par. Hole 6 is one of the holes in the course where you can legitimately see an ace. I feel like most shots coming into this green are ace runs. You can run it firm without having to worry about going too far past. Not only is it on the upslope, but you have the wall behind it. So it's really just open for people to throw little hyzer shots or the backhand straight shot and run it straight in. What's your play on this hole? What are you thinking?
If there's not a lot of wind, I'm electing to go putter as well as James on this hole.
And like I said, one of the best in the business at that shot.
There was a little bit of a crosswind that just kind of knocked his disc down on the end of the flat.
Right, we had a right to left wind, and I couldn't feel it from the tee, and it made the shot pretty difficult. You have to be pretty good to do it that good. That was a pretty straight shot there. I'm guessing that was an M2?
400 PA3.
Okay, not even close. And Lewis plays the sidearm, which is fighting against that right to left headwind into the green safely. I'm guessing Devan's going to give us a little bit of an ace run. Oh, wow. Surprising. That was not expected. This is a lefty dream hole here. But if you don't commit to your shot, that can happen quick. And Devan misses his putt for 4. That is 3 strokes left on the course. That one hurts. And maybe Lewis feeling a little bit of the tension in the group there. That's tricky. Let's see if James can shake it off. Yeah, you can't rattle him. Look at that hair. That's too beautiful of hair to let something like that rattle him. Do you feel that ever though? Like when something bad is happening in the group, whether it's somebody maybe being upset at themselves or missing a putt that you think they should make, does that make you feel differently?
Sometimes. If it's a strange situation as far as like an OB call or something, This just it can affect the other people in the group.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'd say you're one of the more consistent players in terms of not being rattled by things. I've tried to rattle you in the past, and it's been very unsuccessful. So I can't imagine that you're too easily affected by that kind of stuff, but there's always a strange tension in the air when something like that's going on. Hole 7, par 4, grip it and rip it. You can go straight, as James is going here, a little bit of turn, but really just going for maximum distance. Or you can try to bite off a little bit shorter of a shot, but off to the left to give yourself a better angle into the green. Going off the tee pad to start, that is such a hard run-up.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a fan of run-ups where you have to lift your leg up while in motion. That was made to look very easy. And Lewis Bitney with his, I'm not going to say patented hyzer flip, but he does that shot very well.
He does.
And Evan's trying to shake off a bit of rust from that 5 in the previous hole. If he gets us around that tree, that's going to be a huge shot, and it is. It's in perfect position. Going to give him a little bit of just a putter approach, probably. Those 2 trees there in the corner are the only thing to really worry about with this approach. That's kind of what makes this hole difficult. That's what makes you want to go out to the left to avoid those 2 coming in. There's low ceiling there, and oh my gosh.
Just over the top.
Oh man, did you guys say go in or anything? Did you think it was close?
Yeah, we from our angle over on the right side of the fairway, we all kind of thought it was really close.
Yeah, that surprised me. Came out of nowhere, right over the basket. And Devan with a great approach there, and he's going to have a tap in to follow his bogey, which, like I said, that's a great way to follow up, and a nice over-the-top shot. If you're out of position, that's really the only play that you have is going over the top.
Yes. That right side, you can't really access the entrance to the green there.
Yeah, it's just a nice, solid wall all the way across. There's a couple of gaps, but nothing that you really want to contend with. And James with a great birdie there tapping in. And he's kind of feeling the flow now. He's got 3 birdies in the last 4 holes, kind of getting things going. Actually, 4 birdies in the last 5. And tapping in there. 3 birdies. Looks like Devan's still maybe not so happy about what happened on hole 6. And I wouldn't be either. That's a hole Devan's thinking ace run, so 5 is certainly out of the question there. But 3 birdies in that one. Pretty much the way you want to play it. Lewis with a tough putt from about 45. In hole 8, pretty simple hole, pretty wide open. Just the only thing is you do not want to finish short right.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's a bad putt from in there. It's pretty wide open if you throw the hyzer sidearm or the lefty hyzer. But that's not something that James does that well, so he's going to be throwing his turnover putter, which he does do well. And looks in pretty tight to the woods, but fights through. One bad kick there, and he's laying up from about 40 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And that was he's going to have a tap in there.
And just like we were talking.
Oh, yeah. So that's going to leave you probably 45 feet or so, maybe even less. You might even you could lay up from 28 feet on this hole.
Yep, probably about 40 feet for a layup.
Yeah. Big, high stall hyzer there from Devan. I would be surprised to see anything else. That was textbook. Lewis looks like he's hugging it a bit tight. You can get some nice kicks through the rough here. I was kind of surprised. I've seen a couple squirt through and have putts. It looks like you were still running it.
Yeah, I had a low ceiling, but I felt at that distance.
Speaking of low ceiling.
I didn't notice that at the time. I thought he was just straddling out. I didn't know he had to lay completely down.
Oh no. That's a drop stroke there. He was he's getting a little bit overzealous with his lie down putt, trying to make something miraculous happen, and he's probably thinking to himself, I should just laid that one up. Wow. And barely gets that one over too. A little disappointed there. That's one of Lewis's strong points, is his putting. That's what he really practices a lot of, and it keeps him in the mix, and those are the kind of putts we want to leave ourselves right there. I think he's starting to forget about that hole 6 scenario.
I agree.
So 2 birdies, a bogey, and Chris with a par there, and on to one of the most challenging tee shots on the course, in my opinion. The thing that makes this one difficult is that there's really not like a great landing zone. Like every place that you land, it makes it for a really tricky approach. And not only that, when you do throw a perfect shot and you do have a somewhat straightforward approach, the green is so fast, it becomes very tricky.
Funny you mention that.
Because we have a perfect tee shot from James Conrad, right down the middle with his destroyer. And nice shot from Devan. I think he's throwing maybe a defender here. Out, and that's a great shot. That tree really becomes problematic from the tee shot. It's really wide, and it's hard to get around it to have a good angle at the green, and that's exactly where you want to be. And looks like you're trying to go the right side of the tree as well. And wow, perfect tee shot. If there is a place that you want to land on this hole, it's past that tree, right side, giving you as much angle to the green as possible.
Once you get to the top of that hill, the upshot becomes pretty straightforward.
Yeah, if straightforward means that you're throwing 200 feet to a green that's sloping about 15 degrees away from you, straightforward, then yeah, that's pretty straightforward. And Lewis out of position has to go the big hyzer shot. It's really difficult to get the distance all the way there, and he just came up probably about 60-something feet short. It's actually not even be that easy to get up and down from there because that low ceiling really makes things tricky.
If you land in the wrong spot under that tree, you may not have a putt at all.
And as you can see there, Devan really threw it where he wanted to, right side of that tree off the tee, and he still had an incredibly tricky approach up the hill and to make it land on the downslope of the hill. I mean, I don't know how you could expect to do any better than what he did, and well, you could do that, I guess.
You could do that.
That's kind of the play. I know that some players are intentionally going into that branch.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And
then you could just miss it all.
Yeah, and that's kind of the risk that you take there going for that. You know, trees are 90% air, or actually more than that. I don't know what the exact. I'm not a mathematologist, but a mathematician, excuse me. Yeah, that if he goes right through, then you're gonna do what you did there. Chances are you're gonna hit something though.
You should.
You certainly should. And this is from just right around circle's edge. Don't think that was a layup.
It wasn't. I was going for it. It was kind of an odd stance, but...
And James making it look routine there. Perfect approach. Just avoids everything in the tree there and makes good from his putt. Lewis is ready to get that back nine started.
Yeah, he is.
And Devan finishing his par up. And Chris has got one of those knee knockers. Oh, wait, never mind. So, a birdie and 3 pars. No damage there. Good hole overall. We got 2 players at 21. Lewis is at 15, and Devan, rough start in the front 9, 13 under. That'll wrap it up for the front 9 coverage. Chase Card, 3rd round from the Jonesboro Open. Thanks as always to Jomez Productions. And stay tuned. Got the back 9 coming up.